Hi everyone, my name is Jade and I did an independent volunteer project with IVHQ, which stands for International Volunteer Headquarters. They're an organization that have volunteer programs all around the world, so I chose to do an English teaching project in Madrid. The volunteer placement I was in helped kids who are considered latchkey kids, and during the summer, the school opens up to provide a sort of day camp for the kids. They get to play games, be with kids in their own age group, and the school also provides them with a lunch and a snack. This is actually the outside of the volunteer house that I had stayed in. There's about 30 of us. This was the room that I had stayed in, so there were about 6 other females in this room. IBHQ programs offer other projects which include agriculture, and this clip actually shows their renovation projects. These volunteers were helping to rebuild the rooftop of a building. They also have special needs programs, and unfortunately I don't have any pictures from my volunteer placement, kind of obvious reasons since I was dealing with kids. This clip actually is in one of the city centers. It's a group of young students who were trying to raise money for their music program. So I'll go ahead and let you listen. They're actually really talented. I also wanted to point out this building. I absolutely love this one. It was actually in the central downtown of Madrid. The sign says "Refugees Welcome," and just from the sign alone, I think you can tell some of the very different views that Spain has, kind of different than, generally speaking, what the U.S. currently has against refugees. And I think it's very relevant to everything we're kind of learning about human services and just kind of equality for all. So after seeing that building, I think I gained so much more respect for Spain after seeing that one. Some other things that I observed while just walking around Spain is you really don't see obesity. You don't see it as prevalent as you do here in the US. I think a lot of that can be attributed to the lifestyle there. Most people there, it seemed, walked and took the public transportation as opposed to driving. There are a lot of cars on the road, but it didn't seem like driving around would be too easy and kind of scary. It's not something I think I would ever want to do if I was in Spain, would be driving on those roads. So I think this definitely kind of attributes to the the differences that you see physically in the people of Spain compared to those in the US. So another thing that I had learned just kind of about Europe in general after speaking to another volunteer who was a European citizen was she explained the healthcare system. One night we were just kind of talking and she wanted to know how we did our healthcare in the US because she's had heard so much in the news about the different healthcare reforms and different things being proposed. So kind of just simply broke it down to her how things worked here, and she made a comment and even apologized for saying it, but she said, I am so glad I am not an American citizen when it comes to the healthcare. Apparently with theirs, it's kind of, you're born there, you've got access, you're a citizen, you've got access to healthcare. It's really not an issue. She explained it comes out of their taxes, so their tax rates are higher than ours, but she said, you really don't feel so bad with them because you know where the money's going and everyone's kind of being taken care of. So this was definitely an eye opener. I had heard about it before, never really researched, I guess, too far into the differences in healthcare system, but even just her comment, like, wow, like, I'm glad I don't live there right now, kind of didn't really make us, all the other Americans sitting there, feel so good, getting the huge flaws pointed out so bluntly in our face. But it definitely, you, know, I could agree with her in some sense. Um, with how flawed our healthcare system is. Um, some other things that I observed was just kind of the culture of the Spanish people. You know, they're known for being a lot more free, as in they're more relaxed. They are known for doing things on their own time. So if they tell you we'll be here at 3 and you show up at 2:55 or 3 on the dot, you actually kind of get made fun of. Even when it comes to your volunteer placement, if you are there right on time, they kind of just joke around with you that, wow, what a typical American always has to be on time because they're known for doing things on their own time. I guess that could be frustrating for some, but I actually really appreciated this as someone who's always a few minutes late. And I just think it just kind of gives you the overall vibe of the country that they are a little bit more relaxed when it comes to things. Even after my 2 week volunteer placement in Madrid, I went to Barcelona, and just being on the beach, again, totally different. The women, most of them didn't wear tops, and no one thought anything of it. Nobody looked at them twice. It wasn't weird. It was just how they are, how free things actually can be. And it was very almost liberating to see that, especially now. I think women, there's more this kind of, I guess, uprising with breastfeeding mothers and how much they're getting a backlash for just trying to feed their children in public. And you imagine, well, if this was, had we already adopted an attitude like this, feeding your child in public wouldn't be an issue. You wouldn't be getting kicked out of a mall. Nobody would think anything of it. So it was definitely a huge eye opener there, just the attitude that Spain already has. Um, and another thing that I just kind of want to quickly mention that I think can be learned from traveling in general is just not to judge another culture or country. I had heard some pretty negative things from a few different people about Spain before traveling, that the people there were really rude, just kind of these not so great experiences. And I had the exact opposite. I thought everyone there was super nice, so helpful, and such great people overall that I felt that I think the valuable take-home message, both culturally and personally, is to kind of keep an open mind, especially when traveling. And generally speaking, I think Americans are kind of known for judging when a culture or country acts a certain way that we didn't want them to, nor maybe expect them to. So I think it's really important to, when you're traveling anywhere, to keep this open mind and understand cultural differences, and I don't think it will actually be such an issue. So I'd say probably the most impactful experience I had while in Spain was definitely the volunteer program, getting to help out the teacher and really work with these kids. Was most impactful. And also, I think something really special was I did this project with my husband, so we got to do this volunteer work together, which was a totally different experience on its own, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's thinking about doing some sort of international volunteer program, to do it with somebody that you're really close with. It definitely brings you closer together, and you experience something completely new and foreign. At least it was for me. So that was probably most definitely the most impactful experience I had. The only drawback to that was it was only for 2 weeks. So we were even told by the program director, you are making a difference. However, you're really not going to see it within 2 weeks. But please don't feel discouraged. So although I know I felt it, I hope that the teacher and the kids got something out of it too. So that was what I did over summer. I recommend traveling for everybody. Spain was a great place to go to. I absolutely loved it. I hope you can tell by my presentation how much I loved it there. And thank you so much for watching. All right, thanks. Bye.